thanks for joining us on Nationwide. I am Dennis Adegunloye. We'll begin in Lagos, and Nigeria will soon enjoy massive economic growth. But first, the people need to persevere and work hard for the administration to achieve its economic goals. This is the message of President Bola Tinubu while inaugurating the first phase of the Lagos State Rail Mass Transit, the Red Line. Expressing his satisfaction with the realization of the project he conceived 20 years ago, President Tinubu described the inauguration as a dream come true.
And working on aviation, what is our problem? If it is corruption, we must exterminate it.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has departed Lagos for a two-day official visit to Qatar. The presidential flight 001 took off at about 3 p.m. after the inauguration of the Lagos Rail Mass Transit Red Line. The state visit to Qatar is to honor the invitation of Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, the Emir of the State of Qatar. In an earlier statement by the presidential spokesman, Ajuri Ngalale, the visit is to further strengthen cooperation between the two nations in several areas, including security, cultural exchange, and economic development. During the visit, President Tinubu will witness the signing of several agreements focused on boosting Nigeria's real sector and creating value-additive investments. The president will also participate in a business and investment forum that will bring together top-level executives in both the private and public sectors of Nigeria and Qatar to advance cross-sectoral opportunities for mutually beneficial growth and development. And the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alakis, has assured that the seeming hardship in the country will soon be over as the policies of the federal government are going through a gestation period. The minister gave the assurance while inaugurating the Nigeria Geological Survey Agency Seismic Monitoring Station 5 in Abuja. The minister recalls the steps taken by President Bola Tinubu while as governor of Lagos State in 1999, with a monthly internally generated revenue of 600 million naira and wage bill of 1.1 billion naira. But he prudently managed these funds, repositioned the economy, and today Lagos is the 5th largest economy in Africa. And these are the same steps the president is now taking to improve the nation's economy. Dele Alake further notes that President Tinubu has a profound background in public finance and expresses confidence in the administration's capacity to diversify the economy, plug leakages, and redirect the economy to a path of sustainable growth, and appeals to Nigerians to exercise a little patience. The Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment is working to fully digitize its operations for effective monitoring and reporting of presidential priorities. The Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Nkeruka Onyediocha, stated this at the inauguration of the ministry's delivery team. Ignatius Nkwo reports.
Food security, poverty eradication, growth, job creation, access to capital, inclusion, rule of law and fighting corruption. The 8 priorities of the federal government, 5 out of these are critical to the Ministry of Labour and Employment. The ministry is committed to achieving giant stride for the federal government, especially in the areas of job creation and poverty eradication.
So please, I plead to Nigerian Labour Congress that they should show concern to the plight of the government and the plight of Nigerians, because we are all Nigerians and we have sworn to protect the integrity and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
It has inaugurated a team that will track and report presidential priorities in the ministry. The tax team is made up of 22 staff from the ministry and agencies under its purview.
Everything about labor is being reviewed. That's why the ministry very soon, Nigerian will hear about what we call LEAP, which is Labor, Employment and Empowerment Program.
The delivery team is under the Presidential Policy Coordination and Central Delivery Coordination Unit. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The federal government is adopting a new platform to make Nigeria a global outsourcing hub by using skills and talent development through collaboration with stakeholders across the public and private sectors to create employment opportunities for youths. Briefing State House correspondents, Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Adejia, said the initiative is to drive the country's rise as an outsourcing agent. Scheduled to be launched in Gombe State, the Vice President, the program is part of a broader agenda for national transformation to serve as a tool for poverty alleviation.
These spread across, in conjunction with state governments, which I will encourage other state governors to also come in and invest. Instead of investing in empowerment programs, dishing out implements to young people who may or may not utilize them, or providing tools that may or may not be fit for purpose in that particular area, a state governor can invest in providing the infrastructure, the building, with the support of other government agencies like NIDA, Federal Ministry of Communication. I think with this kind of partnership, you'll see a situation where, in collaboration with state governments and the federal government, they provide most of what is required. She provides the training, and before you know it, 1,000, 2,000 in leaps and bounds, you can absorb 3,000 youths within the space of 18 months. And like I said, these 3,000 youths will be earning US dollars. Very good salaries, that would probably be far away than the average salary in your state. Better to have 1,000 well-paying jobs who will pay taxes to the government, we can derive revenue, than 20,000 haphazard employment arrangements.
We've created a structured training based on that need. So we are matching the skill sets with the need of the international market. So we are starting with different trainings, customer service trainings, sales and marketing training internationally, software development for the international market, accounting as a service for international market and domestic, legal as a service, just to mention a few.
The initiative is also aimed at channeling Nigerian youth to the global market by engaging businesses and partners to be part of the nation's inspiring progress in advancing the future of work. Now, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has appealed to investors to endeavour to pay their taxes to enhance developments of the nation's capital. The minister made the appeal when he received a delegation from the Sunrise Estate developers and the Nadim Group, who paid him a courtesy visit in Abuja. Onoze Yakubu reports.
The visit by the delegation is to officially intimate the minister on the planned inauguration of water park projects in the nation's capital. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, who promised to honor the invitation, however, appeals to the group and other investors to ensure to pay their taxes to fast-track infrastructure development in the FCT, promising to provide a conducive environment for businesses to thrive.
Quite interesting. Some of us who may not have had the luck to have seen a water park will be opportune to see how water park looks like and the latest technology attended to it. So we commend you, the believing in Abuja. We commend you, and we'll make sure that our relationship grows. But you must also make sure that you have paid their taxes.
Meanwhile, the planned water park project in the FCT is slated for March this year. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
In Edo State, the government is taking various steps towards addressing some of the challenges faced by residents, particularly the transportation system. One of these steps is the free bus service, which has significantly reduced the burden on the people. Goodluck Anaini reports, and he takes a look at the impact of the scheme and other palliative measures put in place by the Edo State government.
When the Edo State government introduced the free bus service as a means to cushion the impact of the fuel subsidy removal on the state in September 2023, many doubted its sustainability. 5 months and few weeks down the line, free bus ride subsidy palliative is still ongoing. Introduced in September 11, 2023 to run for a period of 2 months, but the government later extended by 3 months till February 2024. The extension has now been moved further to April 2024, following the success recorded in the first 2 phases of the scheme, which covers all intra- and intercity routes operated by the state-owned Edo City Transport Services.
We have conveyed a lot of commuters. We have about 3,403,969. And for intracity, that's major routes within the Benin metropolis, we have 3,308,157 commuters.
During the time you put a loose, let it still extend it. That's the way it can help the masses.
Cost of transportation is very high. For here to Bioko now is 300 naira. Some people just trek all the way from this place to Bioko, all the way from here to Ego. But today, they will sit down here comfortably, they will enter the vehicle and go home.
The state government is also providing a performance bond for 1,000 tricycle riders in the state to enable them afford the new tricycle that uses compressed natural gas. Okihwa, while assuring the government's commitment to the welfare and well-being of Edo citizens, urged Edo people to take advantage of the free bus service scheme. In Benin, good luck in NTA News.
And we'll stay with Good Luck in Naini, who is on standby at the King's Square in Benin City. Good Luck, hello. What is the update of the government's measures put in place to cushion the effects of the economic burden being faced by residents?
In the wake of the removal of fuel subsidy, the state government introduced a number of palliatives to cushion the effects of that removal. One of such is directing civil servants in the state to report for work 3 times a week, and that lasted for about 2 months. And then the next is the rollout of the free bus services that started in September 2023 and is still on. Just as you can hear from the report, over 3 million people have benefited from that free bus ride, and so many of them have been grateful, are thankful to the government of the day. And from there, the state government is also providing a performance bond of 1,000 to 1,000 tricycles riders in the state to enable them purchase tricycles that use natural gas. Just few weeks ago, the state government had a meeting with stakeholders in Benin City to see how prices of goods and services can be controlled. And I bet you most of them said they attributed the hardship and the increase in price of goods and services to the influence of some associations in the market. And the governor has set up a committee to look into this act in order to arrive at a convenient level for the poor masses. Whether the state government is going to increase the free bus ride, just as the respondent in that background report have demanded, is what we are waiting to see if their cries will be answered.
All right, good luck. We'll certainly be waiting with anticipation on that. Many thanks for that update. Welcome back. Let's head to the National Assembly, where the Senate says it is fine-tuning legislation that will ensure continuous review of all budgetary decisions of the federal government. A bill to this effect, sponsored by the Deputy President of the Senate, Barau Jibrin, has passed second reading. The bill seeks the establishment of the National Assembly Budget and Research Office for timely and non-partisan analysis implications of budget decisions on the economy and the private sector. The Senate also confirmed the appointments of Robert Agbede, Yakubu Wanka, Professor Murtala Sagagi and Muslimat Olanike as members of the Board of Directors of the Central Bank of Nigeria in accordance with the Act establishing the CBN. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has passed a resolution urging President Bola Tinubu to comprehensively review the 2020-2012 Oronsaye report with a view to considering implementable alternatives that are in tune with current realities. Adopting a motion of urgent public importance by Representative Kama Nkenkama and 2 other lawmakers, the House expressed concern that full implementation of a report 12 years after it was first made may not reflect the current situation in the public service of the Federation.
The House concerned that it's contrary to the assumption that a full implementation of the report will reduce cost of governance with the current realities. The full implementation of the report will not substantially reduce the cost of governance as it does not reflect the current situation in the public service of the Federation. The House deeply worried that the full implementation of 2012 report in 2024 will certainly throw up unintended consequences, implications, and outcomes.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the just constituted ad hoc committee on restructuring of federal agencies and commission for further legislative action.
National Assembly correspondent Tertiary reports that a bill for an act to amend the Niger Delta Development Commission Act to provide for the inclusion of Anambra State as an oil-producing state also scaled second reading in the Green Chamber. The House notes that Anambra State has been receiving 13% derivation from the federal government, being an oil-producing state, but is yet to be listed in the Niger Delta Development Commission Act. Contact tracing and treatment have been scaled up in Kaduna State to avoid further spread of Lassa fever in that state. Haruna Mohammed tells us more.
Lassa fever is a highly infectious viral disease. It's caused by a virus called Lassa virus and transmitted by a multi-mammat rat called Mastomys nantinalis.
The history of viral hemorrhagic fever, otherwise known as Lassa fever in Nigeria, dates back to 1969 in Lassa town of Borno State. The recent is the outbreak of the viral disease at 44 Nigerian Army Reference Hospital, Kaduna, where 6 persons already lost their lives. The Kaduna State government and the medical facility in their separate press releases affirming the outbreak have put in place measures to avoid the spread of the viral disease. Dr. Shuaibu Joga is a senior registrar infectious and tropical disease unit at Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital, Zaria.
Patient can present with extreme fatigue, generalized body weakness. Others include cough, diarrhea. Then in severe cases, patient can bleed from their eyes, from the nose, ears, as well as into the brain, and can affect major organs of the body such as the brain, the lungs, the kidneys, as well as the liver. We try and keep foods in a sealed and closed containers. Then also we have to clean our environments and also to kill rats with rat poison surrounding areas.
Since the reported outbreak, the medical facility has been under quarantine and contact tracing is ongoing. In Kaduna, I am Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
And joining me now from Kaduna is Mohammed Dumarajingi, who will shed more light on the outbreak of the disease in the state. Hello, Mohammed. Good to see you. Just give us an update on developments there with regards to Lassa fever.
Dennis, good to see you. The sudden outbreak of Lassa fever in Kaduna State has triggered concern and, of course, fear, particularly among health workers in the state who are the first contact with the victims. The state government as well, and also the community who are afraid of possible spread of this virus. A total of 10 cases have so far been confirmed. There were 3 cases confirmed yesterday, and another case was confirmed today at Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital in Zaria, where unfortunately the victim died, bringing the total number of 6 deaths from this dangerous Lassa fever disease here in Kaduna State. But while the state government, particularly the health workers in partnership with federal health agencies in the state, have been up and doing, working tirelessly to contain this disease, to avoid further spread of the Lassa fever. And this they are doing by educating the public to ensure personal hygiene, to avoid food that might have likely come in contact with rodents in their homes or even in their offices. The state government is quite ready to handle this emergency outbreak of Lassa fever, coming the fact that the experience of the state during the COVID-19 pandemic, most of the isolation centers are ready to receive some of these victims, and as well, the health workers have been trained to respond to such emergencies.
Mohammed, many thanks for
that.
This
is the update, Dennis, so far.
All right, good to hear that given the previous experience with COVID, the isolation centers and preparations are on, and they'll certainly be ready in case of any further cases being detected. Many thanks for that, Mohammed.
Thank you very much.
Now, the need for more public participation towards achieving the United Nations Strategic Plan on the climate change guidelines in Nigeria dominated discussions at a stakeholders forum organized by the United Nations Children's Education Fund, UNICEF, in Bauchi State. Mariam Bala reports that among issues raised at the forum was the relationship between the environment and public health.
Transition from the traditional processes of evacuating waste, which includes that of defecation, is the target of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, UNICEF, and the country's environmental agencies.
To share their experience and come up with a guideline which will be most pragmatic on how the fecal sludge management is to be done in the state and in different states thereafter.
Implementation guidance to help them to develop their roadmap to improve sanitation.
When you have the toilet, you keep your content, so when the toilet is full, after that, where our shit goes is the problem.
The need to find a lasting solution to the identified waste challenges that are affecting the environment negatively is the stakeholders' concern.
One of the most important benefits is the wealth that we are going to generate from the FSML.
It's a long value chain which is going to, at the end, create a wealth to our people.
The 3 months guidelines under the watch of Bauchi State Environmental Protection Agency and the State Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Agency is aimed at addressing poor practices of fecal sludge disposal and their devastating effects to public health. In Bauchi, Maria Mubala, NTA News.
As a follow-up to the earlier visit of the Chief of the Air Staff to Nasarawa State, the Nigerian Air Force is to commence rehabilitation of the community affected by the accidental airstrike last year that claimed lives in Rukubi community of Doma local government area. This is in line with its social corporate responsibility. Chief of Administration, Air Force Headquarters, Abuja, Air Marshal Idi Sani, presented the rehabilitation plan to Governor Abdullahi Sule in Lafia. Aliu Tijani reports.
This is a story of promise made and promise fulfilled as the Nigerian Air Force marches words with action to rehabilitate community hit by airstrike in Rukubi, Doma local government area of Nasarawa State early last year. Blueprint presented to Governor Abdullahi Sule by Chief of Administration, Nigerian Air Force Headquarters, Air Marshal Idi Sani, indicate life-changing projects that are being bankrolled to cushion the effect of unfortunate airstrike in the area.
The Chief of Air Staff is highly determined to foster strong working relationship with the good people of Nasarawa State, and as such he intends to carry out a corporate social responsibility project here in Nasarawa State.
Forces officer, to come in and say we have made a mistake and we will be able to, we have come to say that we are sorry for that mistake and we will do something about it. But immediately after now, he's sending to say they are going to do some special CSR, in the area, in order to be able to maintain peace and to console people some more. I think this is unprecedented again.
In Lafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
Let's take a bit of politics. The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party has presented a certificate of return to its Edo State governorship candidate, Asue Ighodalo, for the September 21st election. Timothy Yusuf reports that the NWSC insists on one primary election and is not aware of any other parallel election held.
Presentation of certificate of return to Asue Ighodalo, having emerged the PDP candidate for the September 21 governorship election in Edo State. Acting National Chairman of PDP, Ambassador Umar Ili Adamagum, urged him to put up a reconciliation mechanism towards bringing his fellow contestants on the same page with his ticket.
PDP is one. We have only one PDP and we are only one primary in Edo.
What I'm looking for is for us to show that through the PDP and through the work of our youth, our women and our elders, and through a unified entity, we can build a first world sovereign in Africa.
Members of the primary election committee, chaired by the governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, enjoined the two people to keep their eyes on the ball until victory is delivered to the party's candidate. They enjoined the people of Edo to go into the election united as a family, just as the PDP NWC restated that the party remains one indivisible family going forward. Meanwhile, less than 24 hours after presentation of certificate of return to Asue Ighodalo, the Edo State Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu was at the PDP National Secretariat to place a demand for the same certificate, insisting that the authentic delegates voted for him.
I'm sure in the coming days, the national chairman and others will adhere to what brought me here today. And when they do so, obviously there won't be need to go to court. But if they don't do what is needful in the sense that I won the primary with the authentic delegate, the certificate should be returned to me. If that is not done, we will not have any choice to seek for interpretation by the court.
The PDP might be heading into another crisis with the acclaimed 381 authentic delegates already in court challenging the primary election that produced Asue Ighodalo as winner. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
In other news, government has assured students of tertiary institutions in the country that the management of the institutions and their unions will be included in deliberations for any further review of school fees. This is coming from the Minister of State for Education, Dr. Yusuf Tanko Sununu, at a meeting with the National Students Association in Nigeria, led by the President's Lucky Emonife. The meeting was born out of concerns about the persistent increase in school fees, leadership within tertiary institutions, and the relationship between the ministry and students. The meeting also agreed on periodic engagements between the ministry and the students' leadership to provide a platform for cross-fertilization of ideas.
Has made effort to ensure that the budget of the education in the country is increased. Is to see how the budget going to education is raised to 15%. And also, we have a bill that has come into being, increasing access to tertiary education through surveillance. These are all efforts by the present government to ensure that tertiary education is going to be.
The Senate President of NANS, Akin Babatunde, expressed gratitude to the ministry, appealing that government will keep to its promises. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, has urged heads of agencies and parastatals under the Federal Ministry of Justice to come up with initiatives that will improve public service delivery strategies in the justice sector. The Attorney General stated this at a performance contract signing retreat for heads of agencies under the ministry in Abuja. Shukunonso Mwabueze reports.
The retreat, which seeks to actualize the ministerial deliverables as well as the presidential priority areas for the justice sector, is heralded by the declaration and signing of the performance bond by heads of the 9 agencies under the Federal Ministry of Justice. With the overall aim of enhancing the socio-economic development of the nation, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SN, emphasized the need for collective responsibility for an improved governance and effective service delivery.
I will hold every head of agency to the highest standard of performance in line with the declarations you have made today. It is therefore imperative that you cascade the contents of your presentation to all levels of leadership in your agencies in order to ensure performance on the job and a clear understanding of your mandates under the performance bond.
I must re-emphasize that every agency present here today is integral to the success of the agenda given to the Honorable Attorney General by the President.
Presentations on the alignment with the sector's plan, the 2024 work plan developed from their initiatives, as well as targets drawn from their agency's strategic plan and SWOT analysis were made by the heads of the agencies.
I further assure the Honorable Attorney General of my resolve to strongly actualize NAPTIP's strategic plan, which is reflected in our 2024 work plan.
All those internal displacements that can happen, and communities move, they need immediate human rights intervention. But because we don't have the funds, and before we can access the funds, at times a lot of things have gone wrong.
This is new Nigerian governance. There is no measurement, and public service needs to be measured in concrete terms.
To be evaluated on a quarterly basis, the performance contract will serve as reference point to appraise the agency's successes, challenges, as well as identify areas of improvement within the justice sector. Chukwunonso Nwapweze, NTA News.
Let's now head over to our Jos Network Center, where Bilkisu is standing by. Hello, Bilkisu.
Good afternoon, Dennis. Welcome to Jos. Federal government says the National Meteorological Development Center Jos has the capacity to proactively support the growth of the nation's economy by developing local capacities along the mineral value chain activities. Minister of Steel Development Shaibu Abubakar Audu stated this while on a working visit to the National Meteorological Development Center Jos. Priscilla Grumnan reports.
In line with the renewed hope mantra of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to revitalize the steel industry for enhanced economy and job creation, the minister was at the National Meteorological Development Center, Jos, to ensure the process of reorganizing the sector for national development. Undertaking a facility tour of some of the critical plants such as the mineral pilot plant, lead and zinc smelting plant, and electronic arc furnace workshop, the minister expresses optimism that the facility has the capacity to revive steel production in the country.
This is time to turn the leaf and ensure that the problems and the challenges are resolved and the industry is turned around completely. So we're talking to technical advisors, we're talking to financiers. There's an ongoing process to concession Ajokuta Steel Plant as well as Niomco.
Shaibu Abubakar Audu adds that government is working towards reversing the trend of importation. Managing Director of the National Meteorological Development Center, Professor Linus Asuko, expresses determination of the center to partner federal government in achieving the lofty dreams of reviving the steel sector.
We are going to partner with him to make sure that the objective of Mr. President, his own objective, is achieved.
The minister held a town hall meeting with staff of the center aimed at fashioning out ways of accelerating the growth of the steel industry. In Jos, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
As a way of fostering understanding between the military and its host community in the event of crisis, journalists are expected to project true narrative of events through their reportage. Key players brought this to fore at the maiden National Convention of Middle Belt Journalist Forum in Jos. With the theme Civil Society-Military Partnership in Mitigating Crisis in North-Central Nigeria, the convention seeks to create awareness among stakeholders to find lasting solutions to the lingering crisis and killings bedeviling the zone and bringing an end to it.
We realize that most of the stories about the middle belt are given in a very wrong perspective, and we are here to wrong the narratives.
There's a CIMIC unit here, but if it is not working well, then it means that it needs to be strengthened, it needs to be reinvigorated.
Get your facts right, and also adhere to the ethics, of the profession. If you do that, you have already gotten out of the trap of fake news.
Chief of Defense Staff General Chris Musa and Governor Caleb Mutfwang, both represented, commended the forum for the initiative, saying this effort will help in clearing a lot of misconceptions regarding military operations.
Let me use this opportunity to assure Nigerians of the neutrality of the armed forces of Nigeria in dealing with public challenges facing the nation generally and your region in particular.
Journalists wield immense influence in shaping the developmental narrative of our nation.
Delegates from Benue, Nasarawa, Taraba, Southern Kaduna, among others, hammered on the need for journalists to be objective and be the voice of the downtrodden in the society. That's our contribution from Jos. Nationwide continues with Obehi in Benin after this break.
Welcome to Benin. Strategic plans, prudent spending, diversifying income stream, and implementing cost-cutting measures have been highlighted as essential for Nigerians, particularly women, amid the escalating cost of goods and services in Nigeria. Economic experts in Akure emphasize these measures as effective strategies for navigating the current inflationary phase. Bukola Ario has details.
Research indicates that women play pivotal roles in both family and nation building, contributing significantly to the economy through various sectors such as businesses, agriculture, and entrepreneurship. However, despite their crucial impact on daily economic progress, women face challenges due to the increasing cost of goods and services. In the face of economic uncertainties, individuals like Grace Akiribido, a civil servant, recognize the need to develop strategic plans beyond government employment to navigate rising prices of goods and support our family. Acknowledging the persistent inflation affecting Nigerians, experts stress the importance of personal savings for women, with a particular emphasis on the impact of the high exchange rate.
We must add additional income to our income. It's not only the job.
Prioritizing economic empowerment for women according to...
Apologies for that. We're having some technical challenges with the audio from that side. Let's continue from here in Abuja. Youths from Elelemwo community in Ubiakbo local government area of River State have described as worrisome the recurring flooding in the area, which has continued to displace residents and affected economic activities. Kingsley Amaju reports that the youths made their views known during a peaceful protest where they appealed for federal government's intervention to ameliorate their plight.
The Elemet Junction Imo River axis of Port Harcourt-Aba Expressway was once in a deplorable state before the intervention of the federal government through a construction company which rehabilitated the road. The reconstruction, which ordinarily would have been a blessing to the community, is now a source of concern arising from the persistent flood incident within the community each time it rains.
Whenever it rains here, you cannot access. It's because of few days now that we have this dry weather. That's why we can even walk on this street.
The Minister for Works to look into the issue of this the flooding affecting the Lelewan community, particularly in kilometer 17 Aba Expressway.
The protesting youths attributed the recurring flood incident to the drainage system. They appealed to the federal government to persuade the contractor to remediate their concern.
Begging for the Minister of Works to intervene to help us.
As the 2024 rainy season approaches, the people look forward to a speedy intervention to ease their plight. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
The Nigeria Customs Service will uphold its current intervention of helping people access food at cheaper rates as part of the broader plan by the federal government to ameliorate the current challenge of hiking the prices of essential commodities. Acting Controller Federal Operations Unit, Zone D of Customs, Joseph Adelaja, gave this assurance while interfacing with the Shehu of Borno, Abubakar Ibn Umar Alamin Garbai El Kanemi in Maiduguri. Umar Jimbarima reports.
The visit, the Controller, Federal Operation Unit, Zone D, Joseph Adelaja, emphasized the importance of collaboration and sought the Shehu of Borno's fatherly support in tackling the challenges related to food insecurity. This aligns with the customs policy to actively engage stakeholders in addressing national issues, one of which is the current food crisis. The Controller, Federal Operation Unit, stressed the need for collective effort in supporting and promoting national food security in Nigeria.
Things are getting better and better. Custom as well, under the leadership of my CGC, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, has been going out to, sell rice at rock bottom prices. 50 kg of rice today is about 85,000 naira. Where custom is selling half of that bag for 10,000 naira. This is our own part contribution to solving the problem.
In response, the Shehu of Borno expressed his commitment to supporting initiatives aimed at promoting national food security.
After all, it is your sole responsibility to control and management of the borders and all this. So, we are very good credit to you and your men.
This visit underscores the importance of consolidation, collaboration and innovation in combating the rising food prices and food insecurity in Nigeria. In Maiduguri, Umar Jimbarima, NTA News.
There are calls from scholars in arts and concerned orators on the need to strengthen the National Art Gallery and stimulate cultural and artistic development that will enhance Nigeria's arts, culture and the creative economy. This is coming subsequent to the 14th annual lecture of the National Art Gallery of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture holding in Abuja. Charles Alpha reports.
The race to make Nigeria the creative, cultural and entertainment capital of the world is on. And scholars in related fields are driving the initiative. They believe, over the years, the philosophy of modern art inherited in Africa and Nigeria was more of a feast for the eyes. However, the thinking behind the 14th annual distinguished lecture of the National Art Gallery is to unveil ideas to navigate investors, practitioners and stakeholders to give arts its rightful place in the nation's cultural and economic agenda.
Visual art, the remote catalyst of strides made in other aspects of material culture, is a potential investment cash cow.
Former Minister of Information and Culture, Professor Jerry Ghana, lauds the present administration for creating the ministry to grow the creative sector, create new jobs, establish a robust policy framework, and support artistic expression.
When people think, they design, they create, and bring things into being. It's a very, very powerful process. So I want to thank the President for the wisdom of creating a special ministry.
Art is so important that we should have an edifice, we should have a gallery space in the center of the FCT.
We must look into
the reintegration of history, on culture.
Thoughts for empowering the visual arts and Nigeria's creative economy for rapid development was the focus of this year's annual lecture. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Canadian High Commissioner to Nigeria, Dr. Jamie Christophe, has emphasized the need to partner with Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, for a mutually beneficial relationship and collaboration with regards to migration management between the two countries. Christophe mentioned that his team is ready to support the Commission with opportunities, time and expertise to achieve better managed migration. Chairman of NIDCOM, Abike Dabiri-Arewa, appreciated the visit and the offer of partnerships, revealing some ongoing projects of the Commission with Nigerians in Canada. Dabiri-Arewa added that the Commission, with support of a councillor in Canada, is working on a Canada pull factor as a pilot project to harmonise the data of Nigerians in Canada in line with the Diaspora data mapping portal. And a new set of diplomats have emerged from the Foreign Policy School, an affiliate of the Nigerian School of the International Affairs. Salwal Khalil Ibrahim reports that participants were tasked to put into practice Nigeria's foreign policy and their diplomatic finesse wherever they find themselves.
Every citizen is an ambassador, be it of your country, of your profession, or even your immediate family. But here, it has been 3 days of intensive knowledge sharing about Nigeria's foreign policy and international relations, emerging realities in foreign affairs, diplomacy, military and political relations with different renowned career and non-career ambassadors. Participants were drawn from different sectors across the country, including participants from Sierra Leone and the People's Republic of China.
Diplomacy begins with you, and it's not going to end with you. You just pass on the baton, because every Nigerian is a diplomat.
As a scholar, I saw the practical part of diplomacy and the conduct of foreign policy. And that is further giving my theoretical knowledge of foreign policy deeper understanding. I'm sure that my cadets will benefit from what I have learned in the Foreign Policy School.
Then comes the graduation ceremony, where new ties were made, as it also coincided with the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Bangladesh and Nigeria.
The relations grew from a strength to a strength, from brothers to brothers, from sisters to sisters of Bangladesh and Nigeria.
We must also let the whole world know that Nigerians are willing to cooperate with international standards, international legal instruments, treaties, and all of that for the betterment of not only the interest of Nigeria, but for the entire world.
Most times it's not about you as a person when you're out there. It's about who and what you represent. So we start with ourselves.
Alumnus of the Foreign Policy School and citizens diplomats were charged to protect the image of their home country and Nigeria as a big brother in Africa. Salwa Khalil, NTA News.
Well, that's all we have time for on Nationwide. Many thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adigunloye.